that was when we were deciding between a margarita truck or a coffee truck. Took the coffee truck route with my sister, and opening day for us, I remember after the shift, Lauren and I looked at each other. We're like, we cannot do this. Like, we are exhausted.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Screw It, Let's Do This podcast, a podcast where we interview entrepreneurs about their stories. I'm your host, Shelby.
And I'm your other host, Therese.
And today we have a very exciting guest, our first remote guest coming all the way from Virginia, Lexi.
Woo! Welcome, Lexi from Two Sisters Coffee. Lexi, can you start off by telling us a little bit about your current business, Two Sisters Coffee?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. But my name is Lexi and I own Two Sisters Coffee with my sister Lauren. We opened in 2020 when I graduated from college, couldn't find a job. And that was when I decided to take the entrepreneurial route. And now we've been working out of a vintage van, a 1957 Chevy Bread van, for nearly 3 years. And it's been a journey with highs and lows, but overall been a blast.
Wow. Oof. When you said, 2020, so you graduated right in COVID times.
It was wild. I studied PR and nonprofit studies in my entire time. Like, that was my vision, which I've always been all over the place. When I went into college, I was going to be a nurse. So we ended up in PR and nonprofit studies. So it's funny how that works. But that was my plan. I had applied to, I kid you not, guys, probably 200 jobs. And I had heard back nothing, no interviews. I mean, it was wild. And so I moved back home with my parents, and we live in Culpeper, Virginia. And so moved back there and no jobs. So I was like, okay, a coffee shop's been a dream of mine for however long, loved coffee in college, but I knew a coffee shop just wasn't financially realistic and didn't really make sense with COVID and indoor seating and stuff. So that was when we were deciding between a margarita truck or a coffee truck. We took the coffee truck route.
No
I think a margarita truck would be a blast for like weddings and stuff. So maybe one day, but took the coffee truck route with my sister, and it was crazy. We spent like a while. We'll talk about that, but I spent a while renovating the truck, and my sister would literally come to work before school, then go to her senior year of high school, and then go to tennis practice. So it was like a solid 12-hour day for her. She worked so hard. So yeah, it's been wild.
Wait, I really foresee that as a second truck, Two Sisters and Tequila. Right? Like, if we're doing margaritas, I don't know how legal that is.
Wait, that actually is genius. I don't know how I would thought
Two Sisters and Tequila. Let me know when you launch that business, and we will be the first customers.
Oh, we would. That would actually be such fun branding. Like Two Sisters and Tequila. I just feel like that's really like hits, you know?
So Lexi, I know you started this in 2020 with your sister. I mean, it's extremely impressive on social media. You guys have like a pretty huge following. I mean, on Instagram, I saw like 80,000 at this present day. TikTok, I don't even.
You got a lot on TikTok. Like what, 175 or something?
Yeah, it's right around there.
I mean, that's like pretty intense growth, like pretty impressive. And we would love to learn about that. But I'm curious, like, do you have other entrepreneurs like in your family, or like where did this come from?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that I think is really what helped ease our transition into entrepreneurship, because that is literally all we knew growing up. So my grandparents are entrepreneurs on one side. My dad owns a scrapyard. My mom is a personal trainer. My brother owns a photography business.
Wow.
Like literally all of us. So like I didn't know any different. So I think that really helped transition us, because like we just didn't, like we knew that some months were really good, some months were really bad. Like it just is the name of the game. And so I just didn't know any different. And so that really helped a lot, because I was so used to seeing that growing up. And so that helped a lot, for sure. I'm very grateful for that, because that's all I ever saw.
Wow. So like when seeing all that, like the ups and the downs and sometimes the unpredictability, what attracted you to entrepreneurship? Like what about it?
To be perfectly honest, I think like my dad, especially him being his own boss, I saw there were so many pros and there were lots of cons. And granted, I didn't see his first 5-10 years in business. So I didn't see like the real hustle that went behind it. But I saw that down the line, he got to spend time with us as a family. There were so many benefits that he reaped that
I love that.
That's so cute.
Yeah. But that was like the real reason. I was like, wow, he gets to like go in the middle of the school day to watch my assembly, like little things like that I really didn't take for granted growing up. And so just, I think it was hard because I didn't see like the 5 years where he was working literally probably 18-hour days, but I do believe it all paid off. So it's, that's, I think what really drew me to it and part of the reason I was really attracted to it.
It's kind of like funny because you say that, you know, your dad was able to come and see all this. And my dad, I have a completely different story that way. Like my dad worked insane hours. He would travel like 2 weeks away from home and then he'd come back for 1 week, 2 weeks traveling, 1 week home. And he did that a lot of my life and like traveled a ton and like just worked insane. I didn't get to see him all that often. He couldn't come to a lot of my stuff. And I saw that and like, obviously like my dad did amazing for us. Like, but I saw that and I was like, I'm literally never doing that. Like, I'm never gonna have to be in an office, have to travel every week and be like, I mean, no one likes to travel that much. Like, I saw what he did. I'm like, I'm never doing that. It's so funny. Like, you know, how you see that and you're like, yep, I want to do this. And I saw the opposite and I'm like, nah.
I can,
yes,
like I relate more with that too. Like,
so your parents were like, yes, go for it, do it. Cause mine were not. Well, my dad was not that way.
I think that's so interesting because I've had friends with similar experiences and I think it has so much to do with like what they did. And so my dad and my mom, they were both like, I mean, if you fail, you fail and like you move on with your life. And thankfully I'm only responsible for myself at this point. I don't have kids or anything like that. And so that was also like a huge part of it for me. I knew that if I failed, like I was the only one directly impacted by that. And so I was like, there's no better time in my life than now to shoot my shot.
Yeah. I think we both felt that way too. Like that's such a big help, you know, and like 100%. Insurance and all that. Like when you're younger, it's so much easier to like do this. Like if I had kids and like, oh my gosh, that'd be so much scarier.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. So we both were full-time with our businesses when we were 23. Like you were a couple days before 24, right?
Why she's saying that is because I had a like corporate, I mean, I worked at a startup. It wasn't really corporate, but like a 9-to-5 type job. And it was like 6 days before my 23rd birthday. And I decided to quit then so that I could tell my kids that I quit when I was 22. And not 23.
Wait, that is actually such a great story.
So that's why I ended up, I wanted to leave for a while, but like that was like, oh, I should just do it now. Just get it over.
Yeah.
With.
Oh,
you had the cutoff.
Yeah. I was under pressure.
Well, yeah, because we were pressuring you to get it done.
All my friends were like, do it. It's time. It's time. And I was so scared, but yeah, I mean, good choice. Good job.
Yeah, it was, I mean, this is, we don't have to go so deep into this story, but I was going to say Crumble came into town. And that's when I was like, Biznatch, you got to get in this now.
Yeah. You said you went to school for PR and what was the other thing you said?
Nonprofit studies.
Nonprofit studies.
Yeah.
So growing up, you're from Virginia. What was growing up like? I'm just curious for me because you're a Southern Belle.
It's so funny you say Southern Belle because my friends from like North Carolina, they're like, you live in the North. And I'm like, really?
No.
I feel like I don't just say this, I feel like where I'm from is the cutoff for the South because right above me is DC and that is not the South, but below me is like Richmond. And I would say that's like a little bit Southern charm, but also not super South either. So I don't know. But growing up, my parents weren't necessarily supportive of, they were supportive of whatever we did, but they weren't expecting or thinking any of us would go into entrepreneurship. Like I remember sitting down in middle and high school and my mom telling me like, and me believing, and also it is, but looking at what a great career being a nurse would be. And I just really felt like I was the perfect person to be a nurse. I felt like I had all the qualities. And then freshman year of college came around and I went to go get my blood drawn for the first time and I passed out. Like I was like, this is not going to happen. So then I was like, why don't I be a wedding planner? So right from that, I immediately shifted to my interest in entrepreneurship. And I think one of the best things that I did to really also prepare for it was working for other small businesses. And that's like one of the biggest tips of advice I give to aspiring entrepreneurs is work for another small business for a while and like really put your like heart and soul into it like it's your own business because you learn so much valuable information and like you really see what goes into it. Because I worked for a wedding florist for a few years and it is hard work. And then you understand like why they charge what they charge, why they do X, Y, and Z, because it is no joke. And it's not just day of stuff. Like when people see we're open from 7 to 1, they think those are the hours we work. And you guys know like you work double that outside of work. So there's just so much that goes into it that I think working for another small business really opened my eyes to and kind of also prepared me for and kind of gave me a reality check of what it's like to own a small business.
I love that tip. I've never really thought of that.
Never thought. I've worked for I think
Walgreens.
Well, I have a list of a bunch of software companies, which is why I went into IT. That was my favorite job ever.
Yeah, it was Walgreens.
yeah.
I think it's so funny.
She
was homeschooled.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. My first job was at Cousin Subs. We called it Cousin Scrubs. I really wanted to get into the restaurant world. And so when I had that job, I was thrilled. And then it was so bad. I swore it off. I said, I'm never going into food again. And
that is,
no,
here we are.
Seriously, I had no intention of ever starting a business. It was really like one of those things where the panini made me do it. We call the pandemic the panini because it's too painful to say. But it was like one of those moments for me. But yeah, a small business would have been a great advice. That's like great advice.
Yeah, I love that.
I should say though, my brother started a business when he was 17 and he's a few years younger than me. So watching him, not that we worked for him, but we did kind of at the same time, we were also involved in coming up with ideas and like our input. And that's when I was like, wait, if he can do it,
shoot, I got it.
That is so interesting. So that's such a similar experience. My little brother started a business before me. And so right out of high school, he was into photography. And that is was also like a huge part of it because I was like, once again, if he can do it, so can I. And he really showed me the ropes too. And he honestly gave me the boost of confidence when it came to like aesthetic and branding and all that stuff. And I think he really taught me, like, if you can't do it, hire someone that can. Like my branding, I could never come up with that.
I was going to say,
but there's somebody that can.
I am obsessed with your branding and I will be buying one of those sweatshirts. Are they available to purchase?
Not yet, but I probably will do a restock and probably in the spring.
I would love that. And if you could just put my name down top of the list.
Roger.
I can send you one of mine.
You love merch.
I love merch.
Me
Basically,
too, girl.
all I wear is sweatshirts and leggings every day. And
hats of various
Same.
businesses.
And hats of, like Nike hats. I love them.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll get you something. Don't worry.
I love it. We'll do a little swap.
I'll DM you for your size. So you had mentioned that you weren't able to find a job. You were kind of looking around, but you said that you always kind of thought about a coffee shop. So why? Like, were you a big coffee drinker, right? Kindergarten, You're like, oh, pour me a strong one.
What? That is funny.
What made it coffee?
Yeah, no, that's such a good question. And honestly, I really did not know much about coffee before doing this. In college, I would go and get vanilla lattes, like the whole nine. I loved going to get coffee. And so that was just, I feel like a core memory in college was meeting over coffee multiple times a day, half the time. Like all the money I made at my minimum wage job usually went to coffee. Like that's just was such a fun hobby of mine. And so after college, I knew that I wanted to learn how to make coffee and make good coffee. And then, obviously for the business. So I actually went to Portland, Oregon, where my brother was living at the time and did like a crash course on specialty coffee and learned everything from drip coffee, cold brew to espresso. And it was fascinating. It was a 10 out of 10 experience. It was called Bellissimo Coffee Advisors. And I think they've rebranded now, but it was such a fun experience. And also just exploring Portland was so much fun, but they have incredible coffee. It's so similar to Seattle. So that was a lot of fun, but there is so much that goes into it. It's really like chemistry almost. I always tell people like there's just so many moving pieces, but once you got it, you got it. And like once you just have to learn to replicate it and be consistent. And so I came back to Virginia. I taught Lauren everything and we practiced for like 2 or 3 weeks nonstop till we really had it down. And then we did a soft opening in our parents' house, like at our parents' house out of the truck with family and friends and just had everybody over. And I think of that time and I'm like, oh my gosh, it was an absolute disaster. We were so slow moving, but it was so good for us because if we had opened to the public, like without any practice, a recipe for disaster. So it was definitely necessary. But that's kind of what it looked like for coffee for us. But before that, the order we did things there was really no rhyme or reason. It's just kind of how it happened because I didn't know what I was doing and like still figuring things out by all means. But when we decided to do this, we had looked everywhere for a truck. And before we even found a truck, the first thing I did was got branding done. And so I knew if I had that, I would hold myself accountable and follow through with this because I knew otherwise I could easily back out. But I knew this was also a financial investment. And so it was kind of like my first big purchase and step into the entrepreneurial life. And so I hired Lindsay from Jane Made, which she's like booming now. And it's so cool to see like her business grow, but she worked with us and it was such a fun experience. She brought everything we had to life. And so when you look at our logo, it's 2 sisters and then above it looks like, oh, perfect. It looks like 2 little squiggles. I kind of love that not everybody knows what it means, like Lauren and I do, but it's our hair. Oh, so I always loved growing up that I had wavy hair and she had curly hair. So
Wait, now I need to look
I
at
was
a
like,
close-up photo of this
Why
right
did
now.
I just get
Yeah.
the chills? Maybe because I want a sister. Oh my gosh. I cry a lot over stuff like this.
Me too, don't worry.
So you're like, yep, I'm doing coffee. Go to Portland. How did you find a truck?
Oh my gosh, that was
It's crazy.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had looked everywhere. Like I was typing in Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, everywhere, like vintage UPS trucks, vintage mail trucks, everything, because I knew I wanted something with a little bit more character than a typical truck. And so we actually found this one in Ohio, and my grandpa and dad drove up with me for the day. It was like such a long day, but we drove there, looked at the truck, and then drove back. And I remember when we drove up there, I was like, I don't have a choice but to get this truck if I made them drive all this ways. So it was definitely meant to be, and I loved it. But I was also like, geez, this was a lot. So we got there, and then it was trailered down, and that's when we completely gutted it. New engine, new transmission,
Wow.
like hired
Oh my gosh.
people. It was a lot. It was a
Did
lot.
someone in your
Yeah.
family know how to do that stuff?
So my dad, he owns a scrapyard. So thankfully, like he had people that could help with the engine transmission. And like, I'm also from a small town, which has been such a blessing in this because like, if you don't know somebody, somebody else knows somebody that can help with it. So that was huge, just like contacting people left and right to help out and like hire them too, contractors and stuff. But if I could do it again, I don't know that we would do it ourselves because it is so much like up to health code. There's just so many moving parts. And I would probably recommend like people like working with somebody that does it nonstop. Like that's their full-time job because it just saves a lot of time, money, and patience. So,
Yeah.
but then again, I did make so many memories with my sister and dad doing it. So, you know, the grass isn't always greener, but it was wild. And then we spent like 8 months renovating it and then
wow.
opened in June of 21. Yeah, it
I
was
would've lost
we were
my
doing it
mind.
nonstop.
I would have lost my mind. I'm so impatient.
Mhm.
But
Me too.
I totally understand when you're starting something, you don't want to like sink even more money. Like you have what feels like more time. At least I did too with my business. Like I'm spending more time on it than money. And then sometimes when you're done, like for example, we painted my storefront. It's 16 foot tall. Shelby was there too. It's 16 foot tall ceilings. They quoted me $10,000. I'm like, that's a joke. Like that's so expensive. My whole family was up the whole weekend. It was HE double hockey sticks. Like it was so,
There was no AC. Like
no AC. Literally, like we were, my skin was sticking to itself. It was, anyways. Afterwards, there were tears from multiple people, including my dad. Sorry to rat him out like that. But we all agreed like it was not worth it. Like,
Yeah.
but I mean, you think though,
Mhm.
better.
You live and you learn.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, you would have never known. If you
I
paid
would've-
someone next time, you'd have been like, oh, maybe I can do it myself next time.
Well, now we know a better way. So maybe we would do it next time,
Yeah.
but a different way. I don't know.
I'll do it next time.
It's character building.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, you guys are working on this for 8 months. What are you doing during this 8 months, during the pandemic? Do you have another job or you're just kind of like living off savings at this point?
Yeah. So living off savings was a big part of it. Thankfully, I was living at home, which I still am, which has been, once again, like such a blessing because I've saved so much money and like, pros and cons, but overall very grateful because I've been able to put all that money I'd be paying in rent back into the business or, how that goes. So yeah, I was living at home, living off of savings, putting my savings into the truck. I took out a loan from my family and then I took out a loan from another nonprofit. And so, yeah, that's kind of how that was. It was a long 8 months because you're working so hard with like zero, like not even a customer interaction. So that's when I was like, okay, I'm going to make t-shirts. We have our branding. I'm going to make t-shirts. I'm going to sell them at cost. And then I'm going to sell as many as I can. And so I sold a ton of t-shirts to people around our town. And that way it was kind of like an organic way of marketing because since I am from a small place, I was like, this is perfect. Like hopefully people will ask and can spread the word. And they were comfort colors, like nice t-shirts. So people were all about it. So that worked out really well and was also something to kind of keep me sane.
Yeah.
Wow, what a good marketing idea. That sounds like something you have done, like do. You love selling
My
merch.
t-shirts don't sell, but my sweatshirts sell.
I love selling merch too. We should talk about that because that is like a whole nother thing for us. I love it.
Oh, I would love
I'm like,
to
should I
learn
have a
from you.
boutique?
Oh my
We
gosh.
have a friend that has
No,
a
no,
boutique.
no.
We'll hook you up.
Yeah.
I have no style. No. Just merch is what I want.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's
Just a merch boutique.
Wait, yeah, can't
would
you just get like a
live in
thing
there.
that like goes out in the back of the truck and has like all your clothing?
Oh, yeah, you
a clothing rack
could.
on it.
Wait, that would actually be so cute. Usually it's kind of just in bins. Like it's a little bit ratchet,
my-
but it does the job.
Or you could get I have a little, I'm not very aesthetic-y. Well, a little.
You're
Well,
super
a
good at
little, a
marketing
little, a
and
little.
branding.
But I have like a little rolling, what's it called? Like a hanging rack for
Yeah.
my sweatshirts in the store. You could get one of those. Some of them break down and then just put it outside your truck.
Smart. The only thing is that we park in gravel, so the dust is
Oh,
wild.
on
oh,
yeah.
on the march. That's
that
hard.
ain't. Yeah, we'll workshop that when I get back to
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so
That's
you
funny.
spend 8 months working on your truck. You finally do you have a name for your truck?
Oh my gosh, yes. So our truck is named Stevie. She's a girl. I was like Stevie Nicks, Stevie from that one show, Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I just love the name Stevie for a girl. So that's her name.
Is that going to be a child's name too? Or is it just
I
you?
honestly have thought about that and I'm like, that is too far. That's a little, I will never
Stevie
not
the
think of
second.
the truck.
Stevie the second.
It's Stevie Jr.
Yeah, SJ.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's
kind of cute.
Yeah. So after these 8 months, you and Stevie are ready to rumble. So like, what is your strategy to open? You just kind of open your doors and say, we're open? Or is there like a marketing besides the t-shirt strategy?
Lots of winging it, honestly. I started posting on Instagram. I made an Instagram before we had anything done. And I just started building a community online as soon as I could. And the photos, everything I posted were rough, but it was something is better than nothing. And I really believe that. And so I was just posting behind the scenes and we had 5 solid followers that would always interact and give me their opinions. And that was so fun. And they became regulars at our truck. So it was just really fun to keep everybody posted and post the updates and do all that stuff. So I think building an online community you can do way before you open, and it's a free tool. So I was just posting as much as I could, taking videos, progress, and it was a lot of fun following local businesses, all that jazz. So it was a blast. But that was kind of my motto going in, was social media has been our biggest help. I've never paid for marketing or advertising. I've just used social media and I've loved it. Thankfully, I've grown to love it. So it's been a blast.
The fact is, Shelby, like I said, she's been avid follower. So how, and I mean, so have I, but she, like I said, she's obsessed to the
Gosh, don't make me weird.
But how do you build a community like that? And then how do you build your social media? Can you just give us some thoughts and tips?
Rapid fire tips to us and our listeners, but mostly us.
Yeah.
First of all, I will say, if you love social media and love posting and creating content, then do it yourself. I don't recommend hiring it out because nobody will represent your brand like you will. And that's a piece of advice somebody else gave me. They're like, if you love it, do it. And what you don't like, hire out. And so I love social media. So I'm the only one that's ever posted anything. And I keep it that way because it's kind of like a control thing too. I want to know what's going out there. So TikTok, we grew, I don't want to say luck, but we were just super consistent in posting. And when we first opened, we were slow in the afternoons. We were a brand new business. And that's when I was like, I'm going to start making TikToks, having fun sounds on it, figuring out what works for us. And their first 100 TikToks did awful, but then eventually one would pop off and that would motivate me to keep going. And then I'd reply to followers and gain a solid 100 people that would always or comment or whatever. And then it just kind of kept growing the more consistent I was. And I haven't been as active on TikTok just because I feel like TikTok's really changed a lot in the past year. It's just a lot more ads and I don't know. It's just a lot different, the platform is, than it was when I first started. But I do think it was a great resource for us to grow our business. And we've had so many customers stop from TikTok and that has been a blast. People literally driving to a different state and they're like, we went a little bit out of the ways because we wanted to see you. And I'm like, what? That has been the best part of it, was meeting so many people. But then when it came to Instagram, so last June, we had 3,000 followers. And so we've literally grown this following in 7 or 8 months. And so last May, I went on a family vacation to Italy with my family and we're sitting at dinner and I get an email and they're like, hey, this is Bustle. We're interested in having you, blah, 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 to come to New York City in 2 weeks. We want to film you and your sister, talk about your story. It's a campaign for Square, all this stuff. And my parents were like, Lexi, that is a scam. You are not going. Because they were like, we want to do your hair and makeup, everything. And I was like, no way. And so my grandpa was like, seriously, Lexi, this is not real. I really think you should look into this. And I was like, guys, I feel really good about this. And so I kept communicating with them. They bought our flights. And so we went.
Wait, how did they
Uber
find
there.
you? Choose you. What was your follower count?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Okay, so TikTok was popping
Yeah,
off. Okay.
it was like probably similar to the following we have now. We haven't grown too much on TikTok in the past 6 months. So probably pretty similar to what we have now. But that's how they found us. And we were also like tagging Square and stuff. And we just built a good relationship with them. And there's a woman who works there who has been such an advocate for us and is always like giving us to her friend who's writing an article or X, Y, and Z. And so they've been amazing to us. And anyways, we went to New York, did the whole thing. It was a full, like your guys' studio reminds me of it. I mean, it was a little bit bigger, but like they had the cameras, everything. And it was like 15 people recording us. And I was like, this is so out of my comfort zone. And it was crazy. Like two small town girls from Southern Bells. Here we are. But it was such a crazy experience. So anyways, did that for a few hours and then came back home. And part of this was that we got to have like a one-on-one meeting with somebody who works for Bustle in their marketing department. I think it's like an ad agency.
Right?
Oh,
yeah,
Square works with them. That's nuts. So Square, like, do you get free processing fees now?
No, a girl can dream.
Yeah, we both use Square.
Yeah, we are Square chicas. We do.
Oh, amazing. I love Square, but yeah, no, not free processing. I sure wish.
Should add that in next time. You talk
yeah,
to them.
put that in the contract negotiation. I mean,
I'm not negotiating.
Yeah, no,
I wish.
I know. That's
the agency we're working with was called Bustle, and they actually gave us a free like one-on-one meeting with somebody who was high up in marketing there. And he was amazing. But basically we got on the call. I was like, hey, I want you to tell me everything that's wrong with my Instagram because I've got TikTok down. Like I'm doing it right, but like be honest. And he was like, okay, you're doing everything wrong. And I was like, no way.
My gosh.
Like my mind was blown.
Yeah.
He was like, no, seriously, like let me tell you what to do. And so first of all, he was explaining, he's like, Instagram has changed so much over the past few years. Like that platform is not how it used to be. Like when I think of Instagram in 2016, it was all aesthetically pleasing photos.
Yes.
Like you followed based on what their page looked like, but now it's completely different. That isn't so much relevant. I mean, it matters like if you want it to look good, but people don't follow necessarily based on that all the time as often as they used to. And like reels are it. Reels are the way to really grow a following, and reels are what really can help people find your page. So using trending audios with like less than 10,000 sounds is a key.
I need to, can you hold on? Let me just pull up my note page. I'm gonna blow up this year.
But then I actually edit all my videos in CapCut.
Me too.
And the key, I love CapCut.
I love CapCut.
People, you love it or hate it.
I like it.
I love it. Yeah.
It's so user friendly. So he was also saying that usually videos less than 10 seconds perform really well. And like Americans' attention spans are so wild now. So like less than like half a second clips, like half a second to a second clips, like in and out really fast. Hashtags really aren't as relevant. Like I use hashtag Two Sisters because I want that to be like our brand. But I mean, I don't really use them and it's been fine. But really engaging with your audience, and iPhone photos and videos are the best. Like lighting matters, obviously, but iPhone, you don't need a fancy camera. You don't need any of that stuff. Like people want... And people also, this is another thing that shocked me. He's like, people like predictability. They like to know what they're going to see. And so that's part of the reason. If you look at our reels, they're all like very similar. They're not that unique from each other. Like it's either us opening or us making a drink in the same spot or us a day in the life. Like those are like our three big things. And so he's like, find your three, like however many things that you love to make and create, and then post them consistently. And so people love going to your page and knowing what they're going to see.
Wait, that's so true. There's this guy I follow on Instagram where every day he just says, normalize the norm. Here's me going to my 9-to-5 job. And it's the same clip. Do you watch that guy?
I love him.
Hub's Life?
Yes.
Watching him put his laptop in and dusting off the keyboard.
Taking the trash
cold
out.
snacks, he playing with Benny Boy, best friend Benny. I'm like, and people, I love reading the comments because they're like, dude, this guy is so boring. I'm like, it brings like me like peace to watch.
Yes. Because it's you know what to expect, and people love it.
You know what I love?
People love it.
One of the things that I always watch in your videos that like, I don't know why it brings me so much joy like that, is when you guys put on the outdoor, like the little countertop on the outside of your truck, and you put it up there, and then you like put the stuff on the counter, and then you can walk away. That is when I feel at peace. It's like watching you attach the countertop to your truck. I'm just like, now I can relax. I wait all video. I'm like, oh, get the countertop on the truck. And then you do it and I feel good.
So like,
Wait, that is so funny.
I'm curious. So I've like obviously seen a bunch of your videos, but I don't think I noticed that they were the same. So like, what are your 3 things that you try to stick with?
Usually, so a day in the life, those videos were part of the reason we really went viral on TikTok was I'd be like, and I would do a voiceover, but those videos took me literally hours to edit. And I was like, this is not sustainable. Yeah, they take so long. So the 3 things we do are day in the life, usually making a drink with us and opening the truck window. Like those are 3 pretty common themes on our page. It's so interesting and like responding to followers and really engaging with that community and like not trying to be perfect or professional. I mean, professional, of course, but like not like using multiple exclamation points. Like it's your page, like show yourself and like how you would normally type to a friend and treat them like that. And it really becomes apparent and people love that. But another thing that I do that I kind of realized myself. So as a coffee truck, our hours kind of change or we randomly can't open if something goes wrong. And so I use our Instagram like page for reels and fun videos, but urgent information I put on our stories. And so like texts that I want people to read, I put on our stories and make it really clean because it almost kind of forces people to read. And like half the time more people view my story than they'll even view a reel.
Yeah.
And so it's like forcing them to read it because people aren't going to read captions. They're just not really relevant anymore. And in my experience. So I put important information in my bio and stories and that's worked well for us. So it's kind of crazy. Like a reel will just pop off and literally that will get you 20,000 followers. It is insane.
I love this. This is so, I've never had a reel like actually really take off until a couple weeks ago. I had one, I think it's at like 130,000 views and I got close to like 2,000 followers. So for me, that was a big deal.
Was it the one comment where you're from?
It was so dumb.
I'm shaking.
It's the dumbest ones.
I literally almost didn't post it because I was like, this is stupid. Like, I don't like this for me. But I was like trying to find something to post that day. And I saw someone else do it. And I was like, okay, it literally was like a short clip of cookies. And it was like, comment where you're from. Like, I'm blah, blah, blah. And then I put like Madison, Wisconsin in the middle. And it's still like right now, I'm getting like 5 followers a day just from that reel. And like it has like
wild
popped off and I almost didn't post it. I was like, this is stupid. I did it on like a Friday night. I was just bored. But like since I did that, I'm like, okay, I'm putting all my energy into this type of thing. Growing is a grind. Like growing your page and like making content is a grind. So like now that I found one thing that happened, it really like boosted my energy.
I need that so bad. Like I haven't had any. I feel like
I hadn't until now and my page is 5 years old. Like
it takes so much patience, but really just like honestly being yourself and like posting whatever. Like it's your business. You can post whatever you want and like have fun with it, you know?
Yeah.
So I used to take it so serious and only post aesthetically pleasing photos. And now I'm just like, I'm going to post whatever because it is the ones that you almost don't post that pop off. Yes, I swear to it.
I know.
I'm about to post some risky content now. So I want to like enter what it was like to open on day one. So I know you said you had a soft opening. You guys kind of got some kinks out. Obviously, like there's still a lot to learn. So you open day one. Do you just like roll up to a park and you're like, we're open.
We're open, y'all. Got a cowbell.
So funny.
Come and get her.
So opening day for us, I think one of the biggest challenges of owning a food truck is finding a good place to park. And so when we were finding places to park around where we live, I was looking for 3 different things. And that was visibility from the road, bathrooms to use, because that's a huge part of it, and good parking. And so thankfully I'd reached out to a place that I had kind of worked with and known from high school. And they were very, very generous in letting us park there. And they have tons of parking. They're off the highway. They have tons of foot traffic, and they're like on the side of a lake. So they have lots of activity in the summer, and they're just really, really great small business owners. And they've let us park there. And so that's kind of like our regular spot every day. So I post everywhere like, hey, this is where we're going to be. We were definitely busy, but like we were busy the entire 4 hours, but that's because we were moving slow. So like people were waiting longer. But I remember after the shift, Lauren and I looked at each other. We're like, we cannot do this. Like we are exhausted. And so afterwards, we obviously got the hang of it. And the next week we weren't as crazy busy, but I think I was initially really intimidated by opening in a small town because you think, are there enough? And it's not like that crazy of a small town, but compared to like probably where you guys are from, it's relatively small. And so I remember initially thinking like, is there enough people for this? Like, am I going to have enough demand? Are people going to show up? And I think that's one of the benefits of opening in a small town is that your community really pulls through and word of mouth gets around so fast. And so people have been so incredible to us there and just so supportive and loyal and just a really great group of people that have really shaped our small business experience. So opening day was just like also very fulfilling because it's like, wow, we feel so loved and supported, but also we're like, oh my gosh, we're exhausted.
I had
So
a
a little bit of
migraine on
everything.
mine.
Oh, yeah.
I was down bad
absolutely.
on mine.
Oh, it's rough
Yeah.
because you get up so early, you don't sleep the night before, like
You gotta
it's just all
talk
the
to
nerves.
everyone.
I just wanted it to be over. Like,
Mhm.
I knew it was going to be like an amazing day, but I was just like, I can't wait to go to bed and wake up and not be so
Yeah.
stressed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, for sure. And like when we first opened, we were open 6 days a week. This entire time, it's only been my sister and I working in the truck. And so that is just has not been, wasn't sustainable at all. Like we were working every Sunday to prepare for the week on our day off. And so then we moved to Tuesday through Saturday, which has been like a good happy medium for us. But you guys know, like even on your days off, you have to force yourself to not do work because otherwise you just get so burnt out. And so it was a lot of learning at the beginning. And I think to people that ask me like, what's your biggest piece of advice for if I want to start a coffee truck? And I tell them start small, like whether that's your menu, your schedule, everything, start super small and then add on. Like whether you only offer 5 drinks, make those drinks the best 5 drinks people have ever had and then add on from that. And I think that's really something that really helped us was our menu was initially super small. And then after we were really comfortable with that, we offered seasonal menus and kind of figured out what people wanted to see. But it's so hard to take away once you have like a big menu, like take it away. And then people are like, where's that?
Mhm.
And it's a lot.
What does it look like now? Is your sister still in school?
No, she graduated in 2022.
So does she work with you full time now?
She does. So we're actually in like a really weird transition period. So I'll be moving. So my fiance lives like 2.5 hours away. So I'm going to move down here. And so we're kind of like figuring out what's next with the truck. It's been so crazy because we don't know what we're going to do because neither of us want to work without each other. And I just can't imagine bringing the truck down here and like doing it without her. It would just be really weird. So we don't know what's next. We're kind of figuring that out. But in the meantime, with the following on Instagram and TikTok has came like tons and tons of DMs and emails asking how to start a coffee truck. So I've been working like really hard with the marketing team and myself on developing like a how to start a coffee truck course.
Wait, that's going to pop off.
I'm so I've poured so much time and energy into it and I'm like so pumped about it. I wish I had this microphone for that. And I'm like, I've just been using like my laptop and it's worked really well, but I've been working really hard on that because we just get asked so often and it's a resource I wish I had when we opened. So we released a course a few weeks ago and so that went live and now it's available for people that want to start a coffee truck and it's something I'm really excited about because I poured so much time and energy into it and it's something that I wish I had when I started a coffee truck. So I'm excited for people to get a hold of it.
That's going to be huge.
I think that's going to be insane for you. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Did I just see that you like went and helped someone somewhere else? Did you go somewhere?
So I didn't physically go somewhere. I spend a significant amount of time, not a ton, but it's kind of like a part-time thing where I mentor other people and they pay me for like an hour and I get on a phone call and just answer literally every question, whatever they want to talk about. And I have loved doing that. I think that's like, I absolutely love it because it's something, once again, that I wish I had had. I had paid a mentor in California for an hour before I had opened. And I remember thinking how valuable that was. And so now being on the other end of it is just really special and connecting with people of all ages from literally all over the country has been incredible. So that became honestly one of my favorite parts of the business is mentoring and guiding others. Yeah, I love it.
So it's been 4 years since you started with the idea of the business, making it into a reality. When did you come up with the course idea and like how that's like a whole new business in our minds, like, or at least in my mind. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, for sure. So it started off actually December, like around December of 2022. And going into 2023, I was so excited to have this new venture. And so I had made a guide. It was like 45 pages of everything I knew, like word vomiting. And so I had posted it on Etsy, like had this available for people to purchase. And I tried to do it all on my own. I was like, I'm going to market this. It's going to be great. Like I had these huge visions for it and none of them went to plan. Like it was kind of like a flop, to be honest. Like it was fine, but just I didn't market it well. I just didn't really know what I was doing. And so that's when this past October, I hired like a marketing team. They're called Cheers Creative. I've had a really great experience with them, but they're out of like Ohio and Texas, and I work with them and they've been helping me create an email list. And so that has been like key to this, is having an email list where I'm giving them, like really investing in them and giving them information and like supporting them and encouraging them. So started with the email list and then they've helped me grow that. That is not my strength. So that's why like I pay them, they do that and help me like with the copy. And then the course creation I've been doing on Kajabi. And so kind of like hinting towards that with the email list, those are the people we're really marketing to because they're the ones that are interested in starting a coffee truck. Otherwise they wouldn't have joined the email list. So those are the people we're really marketing to, but I've paid them to really like be the backbone of it. And obviously I've created all the content and stuff. But like I said before, I think this is like another learning lesson I've had, is that you cannot do it all your own and you cannot be good at everything. And so paying somebody else to do this for me has been amazing because I haven't had to think about it. Like I can do what I'm good at, which is talking about it, explaining, and like all that stuff. And then they're really good at like the aesthetics behind it and like being consistent and reaching out to the email list and things like that. So I feel really, really good that this launch will be a lot more successful and I'm really excited about it. So I think really working with a team of people that you trust and can do things you can't.
That's really cool. How did you find this marketing company?
My brother, once again, my brother recommended them. And so then I reached out and they're like, yeah, this is like because I reached out to a few different places and a lot of them I just couldn't afford. And so thankfully that we were both on the same page, like price point wise. And we just really clicked. They're great. So it's been a really fun experience.
So you said you started with the idea in like December of 22. How long did it take you to put together? I mean, you said you have 45 pages. Like that is a whole thing to get to where it is now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The 45 pages was like almost like word vomit. Like I put everything that I wish I had known into that like PDF. And then from there, I wanted to make it more digestible because I know I didn't realize this at the time, but not many people are going to want to read through 45 pages. And so I wanted to make it more user friendly. And so now there's a whole workbook that goes with it and you follow along on this course and with the PowerPoint is voiceovers. And so you hear my voice, you see me, and you can hear me talk about everything that I learned and everything that I wish I knew, whether that be permits or other revenue streams, literally anything you can think of. I chat about it in the course and it's around 3.5 hours long. And so people can go at their own pace. If there's something they already know, they can skip that module. If they're like, oh, accounting, I've got covered. I have somebody, skip that module. You don't need it. But if there's something you don't know, watch it a few times. Like you're grandfathered in. So if I ever add anything to it, you'll get that as well. So what you pay is like, you have that forever and ever. So I think it's going to be really, really, or I think it is really helpful. And I'm really excited to get more feedback since it's still pretty new.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see like, I mean.
I don't want a coffee truck. I just want to watch this.
Yeah. Honestly, I have to say this. I think this is a good point to say that my dream, like one of my dreams was to like have a food truck. And then my other dream was to work at a coffee shop. So like, I just love that you're doing, like you're living.
So you're going to go work for her for this summer.
So I'm buying the course.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. I'll be there this summer. That would be that's like my dream retirement job, is to work at a coffee shop. So now with the course launching, you've got like quite a few different revenue streams. Would you be able to talk about that? I mean, do you think of it that way? Like, oh, I've got revenue stream A, B, C, like.
Kind of. I think that's one of the like beautiful things about entrepreneurship is you can do whatever you want. So like we have a slow month. I'm like, how can I get things going the next month? Whether that's a new drink special, a new menu, whatever it is. And so I think kind of being able to be creative and think outside the box has been one of my favorite parts. And with that, we've also done merch drops, which have been a huge source of revenue and something that I love. Like I never expected to fall in love with merch like I do, but people love it. And it's such a great way for people to support you from all over the country. So like we have all these followers, but they can't all come and get a cup of coffee. But if they want to support us, they can buy a t-shirt, they can buy a hat, whatever that is. So But in order for us, like it's impossible for us to have a storage room of tons of different sizes and ship out whenever, because I did try that and that was not sustainable and just was impossible to ship one order here and there randomly and always had to be around. So instead, we'll do like usually one merch drop a quarter and we'll do limited edition shirts. So like it's a brand new design that nobody has before, but you can only get it at this time. That kind of keeps people like, people love to collect them almost. So there's some people that have had every shirt we've ever came out with. And so it's so cool. Fun and just so kind of people too. So I found somebody on Fiverr who does all of our designs for us. He's amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
Like he's incredible. I love working with him and he'll make our designs and then we'll go through Fresh Prints usually. And it's kind of like a dropship company, but we'll do an online order. People will order. And then at the end, say it closes July 1st, all orders will ship out July 5th. So there's a kind of a wait and turnaround time, but that way we just make money. We don't have to have any expenses going out.
That's crazy.
And that is ideal.
That's so cool.
We've kind of finally figured it out.
Wow. So you don't even hold the inventory.
I don't even see the inventory. Like they ship it for us and then write us a check for whatever commission we make. So it has been amazing and such a great way to have other people support us. So I wish it could be open 24/7.
Partnerships. I know you said you had the one with Square. Are there other partnerships that we missed that are?
There's been a few like brand deals that I felt good about that I've done on TikTok. So like I just worked with a small business insurance firm and like I'll work with them, but I'm pretty picky about who I work with because I don't want our Instagram to be all ads, but it is tempting to, take the money, take the dollar. But it's been cool to like have that source of income. And it's funny because like there's all these streams of revenue and like I've obviously made money, but like I put almost all of it back into the business still because I can, since I am like living at home and don't have many expenses. So I think I almost do that to a fault. Like I should pay myself more, but it's so easy to put it back into the business because you can find so much to do and like so many ways to grow the business, whether that is like whatever, buying a new product to sell or X, Y, and Z. Like I can just always find something to spend it on. So I've been trying to work better, like finally reaping the benefits and like paying myself. So it's hard though, because you just see so much that has to be done.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. A lot of the small businesses we talked to mentioned that they have not been able to pay themselves. I always think it's cool to like hear if you've had a similar experience or like, I paid myself, I think, at the end of the second year. So you said you've been able to like pay yourself and live off of.
Yeah. I pay myself like whatever I need to pay off my personal credit card. So some months that might be $500. Some months it might be $1,000. Like it really, really varies, but I don't pay myself to like save money for my personal self. Like I'll save money for the business, but I don't pay myself like personally really unless I have personal expenses to take care of. So that's kind of how I've handled that. My sister's on payroll, so she gets a consistent paycheck, which is kind of a weight lifted because I know she's taken care of. Like she always gets paid, and I'll take like cash tips, obviously, but I try my best to like live off of those and just like reinvest whatever I can. And now we're going into year 3 and I paid off the truck last September. So I'm hopeful that now I can like pay myself more and like, do those kinds of things.
Yeah. Once you get that debt.
Yeah. So, but it is tough. Like you just kind of are going like week by week, month by month. And some months you're like, oh my gosh, I made so much money. And the next month you're like, there's all my money because all my expenses were crazy. So every month is very different.
I want to know kind of what's next. So like, you're not sure where the truck's going since you're moving. You mentioned tequila.
And the 2 sisters.
Is there a 2 sisters tequila? Like I'm picturing coconuts right here. Like,
oh my gosh, I love it. And a little lay.
Yeah, oh man.
You need a
vacation. I really need this to happen. What do you see like
amazing.
The future being? Do you always want to run a coffee truck? Do you want to shop? Like what do you think?
Do you want a brick and mortar?
I'll be honest, I'm all over the place and every day my dreams and visions change 100 times, no lie. So as of today, I will say that I know that the truck is not, like we're not going to do the truck forever. Like we knew that going into it. And I'll be honest, it's really hard on our bodies. Like we don't have heat, we don't have AC. And so the summers, it is a toaster. Like we're just dripping sweat. And in the winter, we're freezing cold. And I just don't see myself doing that forever. Like it's not ideal. And so A brick and mortar we've definitely considered, but Lauren she didn't do this for me, but it kind of like worked out and she did this, but she knows she wants to do something totally different and pursue something totally different. And I want to support her in that. And I'm super excited for whatever she does because she's going to be really great at that. She's the backbone of two sisters. She's just like kind of like the silent stakeholder, I think they call her, but she's amazing. So I'm excited for whatever she does next. And then when I move, I don't know. Some days I'm like, should I try something totally different and then do mentoring on the side still and kind of take a break from the truck? Or do I want to start a shop? I don't know. I just kind of am all over, and it's kind of scary, the thought of starting a shop without family nearby. Cause I'm like, they are so supportive and like such a huge part of it. Like they work for free. So like, I don't know, maybe we'll see. And I've also never managed employees. And so that's a whole nother thing that I would have to learn. And no, I need tons of advice because I know nothing. I think that's super intimidating.
I don't really
I'm a
either.
people pleaser.
Yeah. I mean,
like you don't really know. Like I feel like I don't know anything. Everyone's always like, oh, you have that many employees, but like, I'm not good at it.
Oh,
like,
get out. Yes, you are.
I doubt that.
No.
You're good at it. I've never had experience doing that. And that's something that I know is not my strong suit. So I would love to work with somebody who can help me with that.
Yeah. And it makes it more fun. I mean, I personally felt like entrepreneurship was so lonely. Like I was going to give up after a year and a half. Even the first year that I met Shelby, and then we met our friend group and then had employees. And now it's like,
I mean, really all of our friends have storefronts now. Like we kind of gone down the line. Like one of them's opening her second one. Kenzie just signed her lease today. Like everyone's
hopefully she announces that by the time this comes out.
Yeah, or we can edit it. But like all of us kind of have storefronts, and like we're helping. Like Therese yesterday had a meeting with Kenzie because she's nervous about doing it, but we've done it, so like we're helping her, and we can give you help too.
Yeah, for employees.
I love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How is it working with your sister? We didn't touch on that at all, but like that's that's big. They always say don't work with family, but like that's your whole business is your sister, is your partner.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's been so good, honestly. I mean, we definitely have our days where we don't speak. You know how it goes with sisters. But we work in literally 66 square feet, so we know how to not get on each other's nerves at this point. And so, like, some days we'll just, like, chill and, like, not talk much, if that's what it means. But we just work really well together, and we are total opposites. I, like, love to chat, love to talk to customers, and, like, I'm all about customer experience and, like, getting to know them. And like I'll hold up the line because I'm talking too much. So I'm like learning that part of it. And I really love that. But Lauren is like cranking out drinks. I'm like I'm still talking and she's finished 3 drinks. And I'm like, how did you just do that? Like she's so quick at it. And just, she's been really, really is the backbone. Like she does so much for us. And she makes better coffee than I do. I say it all the time. I'm like, Lauren, I can't do this without you because she's so good at it. And so we just really balance each other out well. And I think if we were similar, it'd be a lot harder, but because we're so different, we both have very different strengths and weaknesses, and it works out really well.
Was there a time when you've kicked her out of the truck?
I'm trying to think of like our biggest fight. And I think it was one time something happened with the broom, and I remember she drove off, and I was like, well, here I am. That was our biggest fight. That was like our first year opening. I think it was like 100 degrees. We were both over it. I was like, guess I'm closing by myself today. It was awful,
she drove off. That's funny.
It was so funny.
Oh, if I worked with my sibling, there'd be bigger fights than that. But.
Bro, I can't even imagine.
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't work with my brothers. Oh my gosh. I could never work with my brothers. That would be awful. Lauren's the only one.
So along the journey, what were kind of some of your biggest setbacks that you had, and what made you stay motivated when you hit these bumps?
Some of the biggest setbacks, when I think of setbacks, so I also think of like challenges and things that were really difficult for me in the entrepreneurial journey. And that was comparing my journey to other people's, whether that was other small businesses or like friends my age, because I don't have any like close friend. Like I have close friends from college, but none of them have small businesses. So chatting with them is just very different about like what our lives have looked like post-grad. And so that's been really hard because it's so quick to look at your friend with a job like teaching or something and be like, oh my gosh, you have insurance. You have like all these things that I would love to have, because like I'm about to turn 26 and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about health insurance?
We could talk about that.
I have some.
Gosh, it's a whole thing.
She's good now. She's getting married.
Oh yeah, you're getting married.
Yeah. So I'm like, it'll work out, but it's like a whole thing where you're like, there's so many moving parts the older you get. And it's like really hard not to compare your journey. So you really have to focus on the things you love about what you're doing and making friends, I think, that are also entrepreneurs, like you guys said, like you guys have a solid community, and that's something that I'm looking for and excited to hopefully continue to grow and experience. So it's important to find people that are on similar paths to you. And like I said before, it sounds so cliche, but I really do think that comparison is the thief of joy. And so when I look at other trucks that are look to be thriving on Instagram, I really just can't look at those pages anymore, because I know people will look at ours and I don't want them to feel that way. But like, I know when I posted something that may have popped off, I may have been very well crying that day because things were really hard. So Instagram really is a highlight reel. And so I think keeping that in the back of my mind too has been super important, because owning a small business is tough work. It's a lot of dedication and patience. And what you see online is the good parts of it.
Wow, you have a really positive outlook. I'm like, wait, what were the setbacks? And it's like, you look at it just as like a challenge to
Just
get
along the way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
That's kind.
yeah, I mean, that's great. I feel like that's
Thanks,
that's the mindset you
I mean,
need.
Yeah. If you get too down, you're
I
not
mean,
going anywhere.
if
You're down then.
literally every day there's a setback, but like
100%. No, 100%. You're totally right about that. Like every day there's something else. You're like, dang, I thought I had it figured out yesterday, but I don't.
So what keeps you motivated during more difficult times?
Something I just really love is the ability to be creative. Like looking back at the things I love about the business and like really honing in on those. And like I said before, something I love about the business is creating, whether that's a new menu, a new item, a new merch drop, a new reel, whatever it is. And so going back to that part that you love and doing that and participating in that kind of like, I don't know if this is good, but kind of distracts you from the things that you don't love. When I'm stressed about accounting and bookkeeping and taxes coming up, it is the worst. Like I get on QuickBooks and my heart just sinks, because I'm like, and I hire a CPA and a bookkeeper and I pay them a ton of money, but I still am like, am I going to get audited? I don't know. Like nobody teaches you that stuff. It's just like you figure it out as you go and you trust the people you're working with are filing correctly. But like remembering the parts you love about it and doing those things really helped me stay motivated personally.
Ultimately, what does success look like to you?
I think my idea of success has really shifted over the past few years, because initially your idea of success is, I want to do this much in sales. And that was like my first idea, is like, this is how much I want to do in sales. Not necessarily profit, but like I want to have this many customers. And it's really shifted because, I mean, I obviously have those goals still, but it's shifted more so as in like building a community. Like I think building a solid community has made me feel successful, because I feel like I have people that we can reach out to and that support us, and that we can support them in turn, whether that's mentorships, whatever. And so I think success for us, it's no longer monetary, because if it is monetary, your first few years in business, in my experience, you'll feel defeated very quickly, because you really can't do it for business. I mean, for money the first few years. It's kind of like you're in it for the long haul. You will reap benefits, but you have to be patient and trust that those will come. So I think my idea of success is a little bit different, in that it's more focused on people now than on anything, and giving back to the community where I live when I can and things like that, whether it is my time. And I think something that I don't take for granted is that like, I think our time is just as valuable as money. So if I can't give money 1 month, then I can surely donate my time in one way or another. And so I think they're interchangeable sometimes.
She's the definition of a Southern belle.
Oh my gosh.
Name how many times Shelby. Comment below to see how many
Southern
times
belle.
Shelby.
Wesley,
said
do
Southern
add the counter to the video. Ding. Let's count how many times Shelby says this.
You're very well spoken.
Yes.
And for like unwavering,
No.
it almost seems
I'm like more obsessed with you than I already was. I'm sorry, this is weird.
She just ratted her
Yo,
own self out.
I
Don't rat
did.
me out.
I'm so obsessed. I think you're so cool.
I know.
Oh my gosh, you guys are my hype woman.
We'll be making a little trip. We'll have to talk about a trip
Oh my
when.
God.
We're adding
You have
that.
lots of things to talk about.
So one, we can't thank you enough for all your time, Dave.
Yeah.
We do have one last question. And we want to know, what would be advice that you would give to your younger self? And that could be like a little bebe, Lexi,
Or like
just like a couple
2020.
years ago. Yeah.
I would say, if you're not confident in what you're doing, why would anybody else be? And that was one of the biggest things when I first
Mic
opened
drop.
was,
Yeah. Let me drop. Can I drop this mic?
But like when I first opened, there were definitely had people that had comments or didn't believe in me. And so I am very sensitive. I'm very empathetic also. So I think there's a flip side to that, but I take things very personally and I care what people think. And I think that can be a good and a bad thing. But getting people's feedback, both positive and negative, I really took to heart because you're pouring all of your energy into this business. So I really had to show people that I was confident, even if I was doubting myself, because there are times where I doubt myself 100%. So acting like I'm confident, even when I'm not, gives other people a reason to be confident in you too. And I hope that makes sense. But it's really true. Like if you're not confident in what you're doing, why would anybody else be? Like you have to be the most confident person in your business. And like they always say, like really faking it till you make it. And I'm still faking it every day. I'm not always confident, but I got to act it sometimes. And it's tough, but I really think you learn it as you go. And it's one of the biggest strengths I think you can have.
Lexi, where can people find you in person, online, and then how can we support you?
Oh, well, first of all, I'm so glad we got to connect. I feel like we've all been besties forever. So love that for us. But moving forward, Two Sisters is kind of in, I like to call it like growing pains. Like we're still trying to figure out what's next. So to be perfectly honest, every day looks a little bit different for us. But moving forward, the best way to find us and figure out what we're up to is through Instagram, which is at twosisterscoffee.co. Or you can always shoot me an email, which is Lexi at twosisterscoffeeco.com. And I love to connect with people from all over the world. So feel free to shoot me an email. The other day I got an email in Portuguese. So I responded and like Google translated it back. So that was my first time doing that. So literally open to talk to anybody, but shoot me an email and excited for people to, now that they know about the course, check it out and get feedback. And hopefully it's a great resource for all aspiring coffee truck owners. So I'm really pumped.
Where can they find that? On your website?
Yeah, on our website, we have a whole tab dedicated to education. And you can go from there.
Sweet.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. This
and
is
on
so
TikTok.
fun.
Follow her TikTok.
Oh, yeah. We can't forget
the
TikTok.
TikTok. Yes. Duh. twosisterscoffee.co. So
beautiful. And Shelby, where can they find this podcast?
You can find us at Screw It, Let's Do This on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
Baby.
Make sure to subscribe. Yep, give us a rating. And where can they find you, Therese?
You can find me at Tricky Foods and Shelby.
You can find me at Miggy's Bakes. And thank you so much, Lexi, for coming on. It was so fun.
And thank you everyone for listening. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.